Welcome back, everybody! My name is BluJay, and we are back at the Reverb Outpost. In today's episode, we are going to be doing something that we probably shouldn't be doing. And here's why. We're starting a new wing of our base, as you can see. We're digging it out right now. The damage is done. We have to go forward. The reason we shouldn't be doing this is because I haven't finished some other projects that we have left unfinished, like the hallway over by the sheep farm. And speaking of the sheep farm itself is not finished yet, and we need to do that soon. But when inspiration happens. And so, you don't ignore it. You just kind of go with it. So we will get those projects done at some point. I'm not sure when just yet, because the next 2 episodes, this one included, I've got plans for this area that I want to get done, and then episode 30, that's just a couple episodes away. That is our new world download for you guys. And I don't think that the sheep farm is going to be aesthetically finished by then. It is functionally finished, so you guys can use it if you download this world, but it's not going to look completely finished. The walls are done, the farm itself is done, but the floor and the ceiling is not. But that's okay. We've got some pretty cool ideas for this area. This is basically going to be my personal space. Now we've got like the farming areas, started anyway. We've got a sheep farm. And then we've got like the subscriber and Patreon areas, but we don't have a place inside the main base to call our own. Now we've got the snow cave, but I've always said that that was just a starter place for us to get going. And this is going to be kind of our area to do a few different things personally. So what I'm thinking is this will be, what we're building today is basically just going to be the lobby for a couple of rooms that will branch off of it, and you'll see a little bit later, I've already got a really cool design in mind that I've done in my creative testing world, and I think it's going to look really cool once we get it into place here. But basically we'll have a couple of rooms branching off of this little lobby that will be like our treasure room for one of them, which will have things like the dragon egg and some dragon heads and the armor that we fought with the dragon in, and the armor that we fought the wither in, and like our first set of tools and armor that we've got stored up in a chest somewhere. We're going to display those things in one of these rooms, so we'll have like a treasure room, and then we'll have a personal bedroom area, our sleeping quarters where we can call our own inside this base. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm going to dig a little bit of this out and get some of the shaping going on, and then we will come back and get a little bit more work done together. All right, we've got some progress done, but minor issue. You can see the sky. The sky there. That's not supposed to happen. We're supposed to be underground. This is kind of an underground base in the mountain. It just brings to attention the great need to do some terraforming. Not going to happen today. Not going to happen before the world download in episode 30. But I'm thinking I'm going to plan to do some terraforming on camera sometime shortly after the world download. And that's probably a good thing for us to do because, we do a lot of building and adventuring, and we've done the boss fights like the Wither and the Ender Dragon, and there's still the ocean monuments to conquer that we've found. There's a few of them that we found, actually. We got to conquer those. We got to find Woodland Mansion. There's still stuff to do. But we've never really done any terraforming in this series. We did some in Season 1, but nothing as extensive as we're going to do with this base. So I'm going to do that on camera in an episode coming soon. Not sure when that's going to happen yet, but probably shortly after the download. 5, 6, 7. Okay, I just needed to make sure that that was the correct amount. Did I dig this out in the right spot? Yep, that's parallel there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, I've dug that out too far? Yeah, we need to cover that back up. There we go. And that'll come into place when we get the actual walls set up. It's not going to be stone, but that's our placeholder for the moment. All right, I'm going to keep working on this, and then we will come back together and have a few more discussions here in just a moment as we continue to work on this room together. All right, we've got the entire room dug out in the shape of a circle, and the next thing that we're going to do is cut out this little border here and replace it with our blue concrete powder. Now, we've been using light blue concrete powder for a lot of builds, but I thought it would be cool to just use the standard blue for our little personal area here. And we're also using the concrete powder rather than regular concrete because, speaking of concrete powder, if you don't have any blocks underneath it, it just falls like gravel and sand. And yeah, so we're going to need to put some support underneath that over this little cave system here. Shouldn't be too big of a problem. But I like the texture of concrete powder. Especially for this kind of style of build that we're going for. We're going to take some stained glass and put it over the top of this. That's why we're putting it down one block lower than the regular floor level so that we can put stained glass. Ouch, that hurt. Get out of here. You're not allowed in my personal area. Go away, skeleton. So we're going to put some stained glass over it at the main level. And we'll have this really cool design underneath our stained glass floor. I've seen this technique done multiple different ways, any way from the way we're going to do it to making a huge design like 40 or 50 blocks below to making like a fog kind of effect with multiple layers of stained glass. There's some really cool stuff you can do with stained glass. And we're going to probably do some of those different techniques throughout this series in different builds that I've got in mind. So stay tuned for those. So one thing I wanted to talk about while we are finishing up this little border here, the world download. I've mentioned it in today's video and in the last video, and it brings up the topic of the world download schedule. So the plan as of right now is to do that every 15 episodes, and that's what I'm going to stick to. So episode 15, then episode 30, and then 45, and so on, will all have a world download. But because you guys ask about it so frequently, one thing that I have adjusted on my Patreon, if you haven't checked that out, I've adjusted a couple of rewards. One of those was Discord. I have a Patreon Discord channel that now any patron gets access to. It used to be at the $5 tier. I dropped it all the way down to $1. So that anybody who is a patron on my Patreon page gets access to Discord. And it's a pretty cool community. You get to chat a little bit, send pictures of stuff you're building, and, get suggestions and ideas and all of that. Very cool, very cool. And the other thing that I've adjusted is to replace that at the $5 tier. So 5 and up get access to early releases of world downloads. And so what I'm thinking is every 15 episodes is the public release. So I'm thinking I'll probably release a world download for those patrons about halfway in between. So maybe every 7 episodes get a world download, and then if it happens to fall on the same episode as the public release, then I'll release it like a day early, so you still have access to all of the new builds and new stuff that we have earlier than just the general public. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to go check out the Patreon. There's a lot of really cool rewards. I know I've mentioned it a few times in outros and stuff, but I haven't really done a lot of talking about Patreon in actual video for a while. So be sure to go check that out if that's something you're interested in. There's a lot of really cool stuff there. And like the Discord thing, if you join the Discord server, at the $1 tier now, even if you only do the $1 for 1 month, you still get access to that Discord server for life, unless you do something crazy to get yourself banned, which, I would hope that nobody would do. But Discord server is a reward for life. So once you're in, you're in. There are a few things that are, required to renew your subscription every month, like the Nest Patreon Realm. That's a monthly thing, but things like the Discord thing, that's for life. So if you donate once, you get in for life. So if you're interested in that or early release of world downloads or any of the other rewards that I've got available, be sure to go check that out, and I would appreciate your consideration for support. And we've got the last few pieces of stained glass going into place, and the floor in this area is done. I hope you guys enjoyed that little montage video that you just saw. I decided to record all of the floor design footage and splice it up and piece it together in a musical montage. It's not exactly a time lapse because it wasn't like an exterior camera watching me do the actual building, but it was a montage style video. And we've done those before as like intros while we're prepping for adventures or enchanting stuff or gathering supplies or whatever, but we've never actually done that with a build before. So let me know what you guys think of that particular video style. We can do more variety in the way that we produce videos and get builds done and stuff like that. If you like the idea of having music while watching something be put together versus having commentary and explanation and stuff like that, we can mix it up every once in a while. I want these videos to be interesting to you guys, and I want you to enjoy watching them just as much as I enjoy making them. So this is the standard wall of Reverb Outpost. It's just snow, and then we're going to line it with some cobblestone, and we'll do some interesting stuff with lighting on the walls. But the ceiling design that I've got in mind, I'm going to do something pretty basic for the moment for a couple of reasons. I don't want to distract from the really cool floor that we just put together. I want the floor to kind of be the focal point of the room, and everything else just needs to be kind of simple in order for that to stay the way that is. But I'm also keeping the ceiling simple whenever we get around to that is, because I'm thinking about building a room over top of this room, which would be like our personal living space that will overlook the hangar bay. And I don't know how high that needs to be just yet. I haven't planned that out, so we're going to build a low ceiling for the time being, and it may stay that way. But then again, after we get the other rooms in place, we may end up adjusting the ceiling in this room as well. So I'm going to get this snow all in place, and then we will keep going together. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We've got all the snow in place. We've got the roof in place, and that's a weird lighting glitch, but that's okay. So let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to do the standard Reverb Outpost door frame, just like so. And then we'll have some cobblestone walls in between all of these door frames as well. And these door frames are subject to change, by the way. Depending on what I end up doing with these rooms, the doors might be smaller. If they lead to a hallway, which one of the rooms might actually lead to a hallway, but just for the sake of uniformity and getting this project done, we're going to do them all the same size for the moment. And again, this place is a living world. It's going to be constantly changing, and we're going to be constantly adding stuff. And I had somebody comment recently that they said, you need to slow down on the boss fights because after you're done, there's not going to be anything to do. And I'm like, no, there's going to be plenty to do. I've got so many ideas for this world. There's just so much that we could do with this place, build-wise, and just adding new features and farms and rooms. My goal for this series is exactly what I intended it to be when we started the series, was to build some functional stuff and to build some stuff just because it looks cool. Like that airship that we've got out there, the Starfighter, the Blue Nebula is what we named it. It has absolutely no functional purpose at all, but it's there to look cool and add atmosphere and environment to our builds. So that's kind of what we're doing with this room. This room doesn't serve a function, really, aside from giving us a transition into the other rooms that we're going to build off of it. And that's okay. As long as it looks cool and serves that kind of a purpose, then I'm happy to build this kind of stuff. So we're not going to run out of ideas for a long time. Yes, you can fight the Wither. You can fight the Dragon. Those are two things that I wanted to do early on because of the materials that you get from defeating those bosses. Like, defeating the Dragon gives you access to end cities, which gives you access to the Elytra and shulker boxes and all sorts of cool stuff. And defeating the Wither gives you access to beacons, which can be used for aesthetic purposes or functional purposes. Like, there's stuff that you want to use that stuff for that if you wait to do those boss fights until later on, then you've kind of wasted time not having those particular materials. So, boss fights done, out of the way early. We can fight the Wither and the Dragon again at some point, but I wanted to at least get those out of the way early on in the series so that we could get the awesome stuff that comes along with it. And just like that, this room is completely finished. You know, aside from maybe the ceiling being adjusted sometime down the road, but man, that stained glass with the concrete powder, love that effect. Just love walking on that floor. So these beams that we put out here, we might have to adjust or just be careful with, because right above the door here, eventually we're going to put a window that overlooks the hangar bay, and behind that window is going to be our personal living quarters. Now, I'm not sure which hallway is going to lead there yet, but it'll be one of those hallways in our personal room that we just built. But we need to move on from that for today because we need to jump on down here. If you remember in the last episode, or was it 2 episodes ago? I believe it was the last episode. Yes. I'm pretty sure. Either way, we finished up the subscriber barracks. There's no more room. We can't go any farther because there's a river there, and I don't really want to dig around the river and do all sorts of terraforming back there because we've already got a lot of terraforming to do. So we are going to build a brand new subscriber barracks, and we're going to have multiple of these over the course of this series, and I think we'll probably make them all the same size and probably the same shape, so that it is uniform and consistent. But the thing that will change is we will have different colors of concrete to represent different squadrons that are part of this whole army of Reverb Outpost. So I'm gonna do my best not to leave this hallway that we're digging out a complete mess, because that's what we've done with the sheep farm. Already mentioned that today. My goal for today is to finish every project that I start. So I'm gonna do some work off camera, and however long it takes me, that's how long it takes me. But we are gonna finish this hallway today. And we'll get a new subscriber barracks in place so we can add somebody else to the Reverb Outpost. Check it out, check it out. We've got our comment question of the day book all set back up with all the correct comments and questions written back down. Oh, that took a while. All right, so today's question: what is your opinion on beacon duping with Silk Touch? From Philip Wangnick. Well, Philip, let me just show you what I think of that. I've got 2 beacons here. One of them was one that we acquired legitimately, and the other one was from the duping glitch. And there you go. We're just going to leave it on the ground to despawn. And I'm going to go get a little bit more work done, and we'll talk about why here in just a moment, because I think some of you are going to point out a bit of an inconsistency in my logic. But we're going to let that despawn and only keep the one that we got legitimately. I'll be right back. All right, remember how we talked about finishing all projects today? Brand new hallway, brand new staircase, and there's snow everywhere. No stone in sight. But, you know, we didn't get all the lighting completely worked out, but that's okay. I'm not super overly concerned with the lighting just yet, as long as it doesn't look terrible. So a few minutes ago, I mentioned that I wanted to talk a little bit more about the beacon duping issue. So let's talk about that a little bit more. I'm not okay with it, and we'll just leave it at that for a moment. And then some of you guys will probably be like, well, that seems a little inconsistent with your logic, because you seemed completely fine with the obsidian glitch when you dig up an ender chest with a silk touch pickaxe. And you're exactly right. I am okay with that, and here's why. The obsidian glitch that gives you 8 obsidian, I believe it is, every time you break an ender chest. One, I don't do it on purpose. I don't just sit there with an ender chest and break it over and over and over and over to get more obsidian. I just pick it up whenever I happen to break my ender chest to take it with me somewhere. And then I, hang on to that obsidian. The reason why is because there are more than one way. There is more than one way? There is more than one way to obtain obsidian in this game. You can set up an obsidian farm where you're using lava and water to basically create obsidian out of nothing. You can set up like an automatic farm to do that. I mean, you have to do the labor to dig it out, but you at least have a way of getting masses of amounts of obsidian relatively quickly. Or you can go searching for it by going caving and dumping water on lava, or finding patches of it that have already been created naturally. So there are multiple ways that you can get a ton of obsidian relatively quickly. So I'm not overly concerned about the obsidian thing. However, the beacon, the only way to get that is by fighting the Wither boss. That's it. There's no other way. You can't create a farm to make beacons or nether stars. You can't create an automated system to do that legitimately. It is actually exploiting the mechanics of the game to grab something like that. And beacons are not like your run-of-the-mill block either. They are a very special block that take effort to get. So my thought process on that is it's not really fair, and it's kind of cheaty to exploit that beacon duping glitch. I hope they fix it soon so it's not an issue anymore, but anytime that we pick up our beacon and it drops a second one, we're just going to leave it on the ground to despawn. Hope that makes sense to everybody. Thanks, Philip, for that question, and I appreciate, leaving comments and questions and all of the good interaction that's going on in the comment section these days. Thank you guys so much. The last thing we need to do today is run down and check out our new subscriber barracks and add our first person to it. Let me know what you guys think about the color. I'm open to changing it, but we've got to start. It's purple. Very cool. Very cool. First person we're going to add today is Michael and forgive me if I say this incorrectly, Ezinga? I'm not sure if I said that correctly, but Michael Ezinga, welcome to the subscriber barracks. Let me know what you guys think about the purple. It looks a little pink because of the shaders, but I promise you it is purple concrete. If you guys think that a different color would look better, let me know. Eventually, we'll probably still have a purple one either way because my plan is to have a lot of these subscriber barracks and to use different colors for each one. But I'm definitely open to suggestions on what colors to do next. So we could potentially change the purple to something else, but for the time being, I'll keep it that way until I hear some suggestions from you guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time that I have got for today. I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Oh, and by the way, this is our 100th video. 100 videos since we started this channel. That's completely insane. I hadn't planned to do anything crazy outrageous for 100 videos because my 1 year YouTube anniversary is coming up here at the end of February, so we'll probably do something special for that. But I wanted to make mention of that because that's a huge milestone in the lifetime of a channel. 100 videos within a year, and I just want to say thank you guys for being so enthusiastic about commenting and watching these videos and interacting with me over on Twitter and on here. It's just been an incredible ride for the past 100 videos on this channel. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and a comment in the comment section. I would love to hear from you what you enjoyed about this video and what you might have done differently. And if you really enjoy the content on this channel over the last 100 videos, be sure to go check out my Patreon page. I've got a lot of really cool rewards that you guys might enjoy as well. But for now, my name is BluJay, and I've got to fly on out of here. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.